All right, everybody, it's that time again for the significant, amazing, infamous braid and fade. All right, let's get into the video. So right here, I am just putting in the bald line with my Andis Slimline Pro LIs. Yeah, so I'm taking it into a lower mid bald fade, whatever you want to call this. It ended up being a mid. It's supposed to be a lower, but it's a mid. So what I'm putting in a very clean and crispy bald line, and then I'm just removing all the excess hair. All right, now right here I am taking my WAHLS what are these, magic clips, and I am opening the steel blade open, and I am putting in my first guideline. The first guideline is steel blade open. All right, right here I am taking my number 1 guard. It is open as well, and I am putting in a bigger chunk. Not necessarily the next guideline, but I'm removing a lot of the bulk. That's the word. I'm removing the bulk. Y'all forgive me. There were balloons tied to my ring light as it was my birthday last week. Yes, a bitch turned 22. I didn't realize that the string, like the balloon string, kept going into the way of the camera until like the end of this part, and then I was like, oh shit, whatever. But bear with me, guys. So right here I'm just again taking my number 1 guard open, and I'm just removing the bulk. All right, now I'm taking my 1.5 guard open, and I'm bringing it down to a closed position, and I'm just removing this thick guideline I just created by removing some of the bulk. Now it's not going to remove it completely, but it's just going to get it down enough so where I can kind of see what I'm doing. All right, now I'm taking my half guard in an open position and working. Actually, I am putting in a guideline and then trying to remove the guideline as well. So I'm just removing the half line that I am putting in, and then I am also taking it out at the same time. Okay, so those first lines I cleaned up weren't necessarily detailed cleanups. So right now I'm just going back and just cleaning up any spots that I see that I've missed in the first initial cleanup. So I'm switching from half guard open to close, taking out those lines. Then I'm gonna put the 1 on there, clean out any lines that I see or have made. Same thing with the half guard. Alright, now I have my steel blade, so there is no guard on my WAHLS clippers, and the clippers are all the way, actually they're closed, I work weird with this one. So what I do is I close them all the way, and then I flick out that line that was created when I put in the ball line and then put in the open guard line, and I'm just working it back to open to blend the balled line with the rest of the fade. Alright, this is the most important part. I've already put in the initial edge. I'm right now just making sure that his C's are in the same position and they look the same from the front, and just perfecting any of the little tiny hairs I might see in the corners. Just making sure that front line is pretty crispy, pretty sharp. Alright, so now it's time for his locks. So what I'm doing, I'm pre-sectioning his little locks into the lines like they were created, like, if that makes sense. So I'm sectioning them out by each row, and then what I'm doing it kind of like I do braids, and I just put the BTL line from Edge Effect, which stands for Braid, Twist, and Locks, and I'm putting that on the crease, what is that called, the part, just to make sure that the initial part is clean. That'll help me later on when sectioning out the little individual locks. I am using a crochet hook that is not by Strand Effect. Strand Effect is the #1 brand. Go check them out. So what I'm doing is basically getting rid of any of those flyaways, those fluffy pieces you see sticking out of his locks, and just making it all uniform the whole way down. Once I finish working my way up and down the lock and I am satisfied with the end result, I will then put a little bit more of the Edge Effect gel at the base of his lock, and then secure it and clean it up just to make it look very clean, and when it dries it'll hold in place. So I secured the lock with the clip just to make sure it doesn't come unloose while I'm retwisting the rest of his hair. And here you can see the difference. Okay, here I did find my Strand Addict crochet hook. It has a beautiful fine tip that allows you to get through the hairs and work and find pieces and make them all pretty. But then something dramatic happened. Boom, look at that. This hook done fell out. Sad day in history, y'all. Okay, so after it fell out, I had to use the regular crochet hook I was using at the beginning. I switched because the Strand Addict hook has a little bit finer tip than this one, so it doesn't like pull my client's hair. They don't feel it as much as they would this one. Plus it gets through a lock a lot easier for me, I think. But this one does the job too. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. And then same thing like the last lock, I'm going to put some more BTL Line Edge Effect brand gel at the base of his lock. And then I'm going to just twist it like I would a normal lock and just secure it in place with the clip. Actually, I lied. I did secure it in place with the clip, but I ended up 2-strand twisting them together just to show you guys how I do that, because that's typically one of my #1 styles, first and foremost. But he ended up just getting them braided, so I will show you that at the end. Boom! Look at that. Look at that clean fade and the twist and all that shebang. It's all clean and stuff. Book your girl, Hannah G. She does braid. She does fades. She does lock retwist. She does edge ups. She don't do color like that, so don't ask for color. But you could get some braids.